Mildly unsettling images, and I promise you some of these will just give you the chills. Up first is a picture of somebody's signature as their Alzheimer's gets worse. As you can see, it's completely normal until it just gets worse and worse.
Okay, there's a video I want to show you. So just recently,
Yeah, what happened?
Michael Jackson's son had a party. Now people are saying Michael Jackson was actually there in disguise, bro.
I'm back to FITTIE, and today we're going to be taking a look at this compilation together. If you guys like the chain, check the link down in the description. Remember, you can use FIT10 for a 10% discount.
You're caught on camera. While camping, a group notices one of the girls is missing.
Has been gone for so freaking long.
They go searching for her when they hear a scream. As they get closer, they find this teepee structure, and then this happens. Never go down Evangeline Road, Louisiana. 2015, a group of urban explorers go searching for a local legend. This creature is said to be the spawn from a satanic ritual performed by a group of outcast circus performers in the late 1900s. They were deep in the woods and night was fast approaching, so they decided to set up camp. But it's what happened when one of the explorers went to pee that sent shivers down my spine. It was way darker than normal that night. The man walked about 10 feet from the fire and behind a tree. But when he turned around to go back to camp, everyone was gone, and the woods was completely silent. He called up a friend to tell him what had happened so that if he doesn't come back, someone would know why. When the rangers got to the campsite, the scene was horrific. Blood and body parts were everywhere. What happened to the explorers, and why didn't he tell his friend that the others were dead? Never go in the woods of southeast Oklahoma. On a foggy day in 1970, a group of high school kids are cruising the back roads of southeast Oklahoma. One of the boys had to pee, so they pulled over. He got out of the truck, walked about 50 yards into the woods so that he couldn't be seen. He heard a tree snap, looked up, and he's staring in the eyes of a creature 3 foot taller than any man. It had matted hair, red eyes, and blood dripping off its chin. The boys ran as fast as they could back to the truck, yelling, "Start the truck, start the truck." But what happens next is terrifying. The boys go to the sheriff's department, and when the deputy goes out to investigate, all he sees is animal carcasses everywhere, and the legend of the Green Hill Monster was born.
Honestly, that sounds like Bigfoot to me. I mean, those kids got away safe, so it's all good. But do you guys think it could have possibly been Bigfoot? Put your thoughts in the comments.
We're going to talk about, and we just covered on Creep Time the podcast, sinister Disney urban legends. So I'm like, beautiful. And I was curious if anybody had ever heard about the mystery of the Disney jails. According to this legend, Disney never wants to have anybody arrested in their park. So if you misbehave in the park, they will take you to Disney jail. It's apparently just padded white rooms. And in this room, it's nothing but a chair and this frowning picture of Mickey Mouse on the wall. You would absolutely die. They make you sit down, give you a pen and paper, and make you write an apology letter to Mickey Mouse. Mask is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. Look at the chin. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Oh, ow. Little red. Craziest part about the Disney jails is that they never drop character. Even when you're in Disney prison, you're still in Disney.
Disney jail? Imagine going to Disneyland and then all of a sudden you're just stuck in a room with Mickey Mouse having to write an apology.
This innocent woman is known as YouTube's most vile creator. Hi, my name is Ethan, and trigger warning, this is a disgusting case. As you guys know, YouTube will allow nudity in a video as long as it is deemed as educational. This is Leah Felton, and at first her videos did not really do well until she started making breastfeeding content. Now, let me be clear, I have no issues with breastfeeding or the act itself. What got Miss Leah in prison was that her audience was not targeted for moms learning how to breastfeed, but disgusting men. These men watched her content for the sake of enjoyment, and she knew that. Leah even went as far as rubbing oil on her and her child's body during a video showing everything. She was arrested, and out of the several charges she was facing, only one stuck, and she received 10 years in prison.
These are videos humans were never meant to see, part 18. Okay, so we all know how the Titanic sank, and we've seen simulations of what it would look like if you were there. But I'm here to tell you they aren't correct. The video I'm about to show you shows exactly what it was like when the Titanic sank, and it's extremely disturbing and scary. Also, keep in mind, this water is extremely cold.
I actually went to a Titanic museum once, and they showed, like, they gave us like an example of how cold the water was. And when I tell you, like, half of those people didn't even die from drowning, they 100% died from hypothermia. And the fact that it was pitch black, oh my gosh, you're done. Like, scary to even think about.
Here's some horrible diseases that have no cure. One thing many people know about but do not take seriously enough is the rabies virus. As scary as it sounds, this viral disease is the closest thing we have to a zombie virus. People become infected with rabies after they are bitten by something or someone infected with it. What's even scarier is this virus can lay dormant in your body for up to 7 years, but people usually show symptoms after 3 to 12 weeks. When symptoms start, you may get flu-like symptoms such as a fever and headache. This stage can last for days before the real torment begins. You will begin to stay up for days, eventually going insane from sleep deprivation. You will also experience extreme thirst, but drinking anything will cause your voice box to painfully spasm. Nothing will start to make sense anymore, and you will become extremely violent and start hallucinating. This is because the virus causes your brain to swell up so much it cannot comfortably fit in the skull. You'll eventually lose control of all your muscles, inevitably leading to death. During these later stages, there is nothing that can be done to help the infected. In all of medical history, only 10 people have survived the end stages of the virus. Although there are many preventable measures you can take, such as vaccinations, when it comes to rabies, there is no cure. Here's some of the most disturbing moments in kids' TV shows. Part 3. Inducing him to transform into Super Boo. One of the men blown back from the explosion simply fails to hurt him. Super Boo then does something no one's throat, causing him to expand until he explodes.
Gotta be the top 3 worst ways to ever die. That was a crazy scene for Dragon Ball Z. I've actually remember watching the episode. I was like, yo, what the creepiest home camera footage, part 23. A woman in Wisconsin opened her blinds one morning and noticed something in the snow outside her window. She went outside and realized she was looking at footprints. The prints walked right up to her bedroom window and then back the way they came. Worried that someone deliberately looked inside her window, the woman set up a security camera outside. A few nights later, this is what the camera recorded. A creepy man is shown peering in the window. Ew. Police were alerted and shown the video. After doing some digging, they were able to trace the vehicle leaving the scene to a man named Robert Cecil. According to his LinkedIn profile, Robert Cecil is a global key account vice president at 3M. Robert was contacted by police but denied it was him.
Are there zombies in China? A video that was released has caused a lot of discussion on social media and news outlets. People are asking if this is the start of a zombie apocalypse, with some believing the video to be real. Others suggest it might be nothing more than an elaborate hoax, but regardless of whether or not it's true, one thing is certain. If there was a zombie outbreak happening in China, it would have abruptly been kept under wraps by the Chinese government. So what do you think? Is this the beginning of a zombie downfall? Or simply just another internet hoax that we'll laugh about one day?
911, what are you reporting? I got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog. Something killed my dog? My dog went flying through the air over the tree. I don't know how it did it.
That was a real 911 call made from Kitsap, Washington in the year 1990, in which a man claimed that someone or something grabbed his dog and threw it over his 9-foot privacy fence, ultimately killing it. And the next time that he would call 911 would be far, far worse. The area known as Kitsap has been known to have all kinds of weird and odd sightings of something out there ever since people have occupied the land. This being is often what we refer to as Sasquatch. Now, in the phone call, he describes that there's something outside crawling around. He brings up the fact that his dog recently passed away and begs the police to send someone out there. All this is to build up to the moment that he actually realizes what he's looking at. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I believe or don't believe this phone call. That is up to you to decide. Here's the call.
Here, come through the window now, and I don't see anything. I don't want to go outside. Jesus Christ, you better... Tia!
Hello?
Get somebody out there.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
You see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. Okay, hang on.
He's right.
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he in your yard?
He's looking big.
I really wonder what he just saw, because he said it was like 6'9". Yeah, that's tall, bro. That's like taller than Kobe Bryant.
This is why I don't stay at creepy cabins. In 2018, a man trying to escape city life was staying in a cabin in the mountains. One morning, he stepped outside. He discovered a red ball resting in his front yard. At first, he thought nothing of it, imagining that his neighbor's children must be tossing it over the fence. He kicked the ball back, went inside, and tried to resume his daily routine. But when night fell, he was awoken by the sound of children laughing outside his window. Determined to investigate, he rushed out of his house only to find that there were no children anywhere in sight. Yet the red ball was back on his property. Confused, he brought it inside his house and tried to sleep. The following day, he went over to his neighbor's house to complain about the kids, but he discovered that his neighbor was an old man living alone and there were no children in the area. That night, the man awoke once again to the sound of children playing on his property. He peered out the window, but there were no children to be seen, only the red ball resting on the ground. He ran downstairs to check on the ball he had brought inside, but it had vanished without a trace. Suddenly, he felt a chill run down his spine as he spotted a strange, stiff figure watching him from afar. The next day, the man left the cabin, never knowing who or what was outside. Follow, because my next story is crazy. She should have chosen a different apartment. Sally was moving into a new apartment when she notices a crawl space above the ceiling but thinks nothing of it. One night while watching TV, she is frightened by a tiny woman out on her fire escape trying to break in. She hides and calls the cops while the intruder tries to open the locked windows. Moments later, Sally hears something crawling around above her and notices one of the ceiling tiles was missing. Then a deranged woman appeared staring from the hole before scurrying off back into the crawl space. It took the police 3 days to take the deranged woman into custody. Follow, because my next story is crazy. She should have burned the house down. It was 1989 and Cindy just moved into her new home in California. She was sitting in her living room reading the paper when she hears a strange noise coming from the attic, as if someone was crawling around and tapping on the ceiling. Scared but wondering what was happening, she pulls down the attic access. That's when she saw it. A figure that appeared to be an older man staring right at her, and then he just disappeared. Sure it was a ghost, she called up a team of paranormal investigators, and what happens next proves something sinister was going on. 2 men arrived, not sure that what they'd been told was true. They walk through the front door and the lights just go out, and it's now pitch black in the home. Seconds later, one of the men lets out a scream and then goes silent. Not having a flashlight, the other investigator uses the camera flash to look around the room, capturing one of the creepiest photos in paranormal history. His partner is tied to a beam on the ceiling. Follow, because my next story is crazy.
Yo, what's up with all these people in people's attics, man? Just walking through the top of there. That makes me think like, yo, someone in much. Yo, y'all better check tonight. Make sure there's no one walking on top of your stuff, man. People be like, what?
Recently, the internet has been abuzz with reports of some very strange sightings in national forests around the world, and I don't mean the animal kind. It began with a 5-year-old Reddit thread posted to the community r/no-sleep. In the post, a search and rescue officer for the U.S. Forest Service decided to tell some of his creepiest stories from the job. By far the weirdest tale concerns numerous occasions in which he claims to have come across isolated staircases deep in the woods where no man has ever lived. The staircases have no other structure attached to them and look like they've fallen out of the sky, or like the rest of a house has been ripped away. The SAR officer goes on to explain that at first, he was told the staircases were nothing to worry about, but the next time he asked to check them out, he was told by his superiors never to go near them. People in the replies chimed in with their own creepy staircase experiences.
If I'm being honest, that would creep me out. Like, why is there just random stairs just in the middle? Mostly if it looks like it's not connected to anything, it's just like...
I have another Bloody Mary story time. The person who submitted this wishes to remain anonymous, so we're gonna call her Kelly. When Kelly was about 13 years old, she was spending the night at her friend's house. At this sleepover, it was just her friend and her friend's older sister, who was about 17 years old at the time. All three girls were going to pretty much be home alone until about 10 p.m. when the parents got home, so they decided that they wanted to bring out the Ouija board and start to play because they got bored. Now, mind you, her friend's home was known to be haunted, so they were hoping for something crazy to happen once they started to play with the Ouija board. After some time goes by and they continue to play, they realize that nothing is really happening, so they decide to put the board aside and amp it up some more and go and try to summon Bloody Mary. They set up a camera in the bathroom, light up a candle, look in the mirror, and say her name 3 times. The minute they did this, they heard a loud crash. All 3 girls ran from out of the bathroom into the living room, scared. Once they got to the living room, they realized that the bedroom light was on, when all 3 girls know for a fact that that light had been shut off. At this point, they decided to just hang out in the living room until the parents get home because that whole scenario really freaked them out. Once the parents got home, everything seemed okay until that night. They all ended up going to bed at around midnight. Soon after Kelly fell asleep, she got woken up by a loud bang coming from outside the window. She opens her eyes and sees a woman standing in the window with long black hair staring into the bedroom right at her. She starts to freak out thinking there's no way this is real. I must be imagining on this. Like, this can't be real life. So she starts to wake up her friends. The minute her friends wake up, they all jump up and look out of the window, but this woman is no longer there. They all end up falling asleep right after this. Soon after, Kelly gets woken up now a second time by scratching that's coming from inside the closet. At this point, she's had enough and decides that she needs to call her mom for her to pick her up because she cannot spend the night there. From that point forward, anytime she goes and spends some time at her friend's house, she has some type of experience. She hears a noise, she hears scratching, but thankfully whatever it is does not ever follow her when she goes home.
What is the scariest thing you can think of happening while camping? This story comes straight from the heart of Appalachia. And if you love scary camping stories, this week's episode is probably the scariest camping story I've ever heard. So the story goes that in the Great Smoky Mountains, a scout leader was taking a bunch of Boy Scouts up into the mountains for the weekend. And they were deep in the mountains. The nearest road was supposedly 6 miles away. So that night, all of the campers go to sleep except for the scoutmaster. He wanted to stay up and read, but also he was getting this weird feeling that something was watching them. So he's laying awake in his hammock when all of a sudden he hears rustling. It's like too small to be a bear, but way bigger than a squirrel. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this man just walks out of the woods. It's the dead of night and he has no gear and no flashlight. And he just sits at the edge of their camp watching the tents. The scoutmaster's laying in his hammock trying to not move a muscle, and he ends up laying there for 3 hours. And all the while, he's thinking about how he was just reading about feral people living in the Smoky Mountains. Eventually, the guy gets up, stares at the camp for a few more minutes, and turns around and leaves. The scoutmaster makes everyone leave that next day, but he keeps getting the feeling that someone's watching him the whole rest of the weekend. I have a bunch of episodes that have different scary camping stories.
I mean, if you ask me, after seeing someone just casually staring at you, like, from a tree, I feel like I would be paranoid as hell. A lot after that.
What's going on here? Investigators say they're still working to figure out why and how Carly Russell went missing for 2 days before reappearing on her parents' doorstep Saturday night in Alabama. Carly Russell, a 25-year-old nursing student, made national headlines when she disappeared under strange circumstances on July 13th. She called 911, telling a dispatcher that she stopped along the interstate on her way home from work after seeing a toddler walking by himself in a diaper along the highway. When police arrived, they found Carly's car still running with her belongings inside, but Carly was nowhere to be found. And a nationwide panic began. Investigators and searchers combed the area, searching for her for more than 48 hours across the state. Everyone hoping and praying for her safe return. Crime Stoppers Alabama had offered a $60,000 reward for her return. She then reappeared, back at her parents' house in Hoover, Alabama on Saturday night. Hoover police said they spoke to Carly, but won't share any information about the interview, but added they will talk to her again and attempt to better understand her movements during the time she was missing.
but added, "We don't have to move quickly. Our priority was to get her home, and she's home." Now, the child that Carly said she saw unattended has never been found or identified, but police said there were no children reported missing during that time. Carly's family has asked for privacy, but many want to know what happened. Is the public in danger? Is there a kidnapper on the loose? And what about the child that Carly said she saw?
Where's the kidnapper? And what happened to the kid? This story has been all over the place. I gotta know, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that was a really weird story, because, like, how could the kid just disappear and then she just also disappear? Yo, they should really question her. Just sit down and be like, yo, let's tell us what really happened. Like, what were you doing that night? What were did you go out to, maybe, did you have like a drink or two, ma'am? Like, I don't know, this just doesn't sit right with me.
So my mom had an encounter with a lechuza. And can I just add that she does not live in the middle of nowhere? She lives like 2 minutes away from me. Story time. So this happened this past weekend. All of Saturday, my mom spent outside in her yard, cleaning up her yard, fixing up her yard. She likes to garden and do all that stuff. So she was literally out there all day. At about 7 p.m., she decided to go inside the house and sit in the living room. When you sit in the living room, you look right out into the yard. So she's sitting there watching TV. She can hear the birds chirping and all of nature sounds. When out of nowhere, she sees all of the birds just fly off. Like I said, they're scared. And it's just complete silence, like eerily silent in her yard. She then starts to hear the voices. She says either 2 or 3 females. She hears them talking and they're like, ha 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 ha, like laughing, and they're like talking amongst themselves, being really, really loud. And my mom's like, who the heck is in my yard? Mind you, my mom's yard has like really high fences all around and you can't get in there. Like you can't just walk in there. These 3 ladies sounded that they were like right in her yard, just being really, really loud and obnoxious and laughing and like joking with each other. My mom decided to get up and look. Mind you, my mom's very intuitive, so as she got up to look, something told her to stop, like don't look, like don't go any further. They then start to make like these loud like duck noises or just bird noises, but they sound like a human is making these noises, and it's almost like they're mocking her and they're like laughing, and it's just whatever is going on. My mom's like, she wants no part of it, so she decides that she's gonna shut her door. Mind you, the whole time her freaking screen door, her sliding glass door is open, so she shuts it and locks it and shuts the curtain, and she just kind of stays inside the house and starts to pray. After some time, she then hears these things just kind of like disappear. She no longer hears them, and then it was almost like nature came back, like it turned back on, and she started to hear like the birds chirping and like everything else, like nothing ever happened. I also forgot to add that she has a giant tree right outside her bedroom window. She said that that's where you can hear them the most, right outside her bedroom window, so she believes these lechuzas were just hanging out on that giant tree, like right outside her bedroom window.
The Simpsons have done it again. It seems like they predicted the downfall of the Titan. The Titan is the name of this vessel that was going to go down to the ruins of the Titanic to explore it. There were 5 passengers on board the Titan, and 2 hours after their descent, they lost communication. The vessel was missing, and this morning it was declared that they had run out of oxygen and they have been declared dead. In season 17 of The Simpsons, Homer travels down to go find some treasure. When they reach the bottom of the ocean, they find a shipwreck broken in half just like the Titanic. And then their oxygen levels get really low. So people are thinking that The Simpsons predicted the downfall of the Titan. Not only that, but Simpsons writer Mike Riaz also was aboard the Titan at one point. But this was after the episode aired, so it's not like it influenced it. Everything is just really freaky. I'm explaining it more on my YouTube channel, so make sure you check it out. Link in bio. It's going live soon.
Okay, so they could have predicted the Titan, but did their ship explode though?
Okay, there's a video I want to show you. So just recently,
yeah, what happened?
Michael Jackson's son had a party. Now people are saying Michael Jackson was actually there in disguise, bro. No, look at this, look at this, look at this. Michael Jackson, he was known for being allergic to the sun because of his skin.
Okay, so he's like,
so he's always wearing like long sleeves or stuff to cover himself.
Yeah.
So you can see here, see, he has an umbrella, always wearing sunglasses, always covering his skin. Now his son and I think his manager, they had a big like yacht party.
Okay.
Now there's somebody on the boat that looks very suspicious.
Oh,
because it's the only person that's wearing full covered, and look at his face and look at the choice of attire. People are saying this is Michael Jackson after another plastic surgery to change his identity, and he's hiding, and he's still chilling with his son in public.
I feel like someone as big as Michael Jackson, I feel like that would be super hard to play off. I don't think he's actually still alive. Do you guys think he's actually still alive? Put your thoughts in the comments.
History to make you say, what the fuck? The ancient Egyptians practiced a fertility ritual that included goats and alligators. Men would engage with the alligators by turning them on their backs, while women would go to town on the goats. In colonial times, unwed couples were required to sleep with a wooden block between them to prevent inappropriate contact, a practice known as bundling. Before departing for war, Greek soldiers would provide their wives with an olibik, essentially a stale loaf of bread intended to serve as a form of entertainment. This curious practice may have led to some unexpected consequences, including yeast infections. In 14th century France, a law prohibited men with erectile dysfunction from marrying. If accused of this condition, a man would be required to demonstrate his physical capability in a court of law, a process referred to euphemistically as bashing the bishop, to prove that his body functioned properly. If you enjoy our content, be sure to comment below if we should continue this series.
Man, I'm sitting here thinking like, damn, we have some weird laws nowadays, but back then, oh my gosh, that was insane.
Any city, in any country, enter any library you find. Ask the librarian at the front desk to see the holder of triumph. She will raise an eyebrow as if judging you, but nonetheless will take you deeper into the library. You will see a door that you could swear would lead you outside. The librarian will stop at said door and knock 3 times. A voice that sounds similar to 2 sheets of sandpaper rubbing together will ask, "Confident are thee, that triumph awaits at the end?" You must answer, "Indeed, for I do not fail." Say this before the librarian answers that you are a failure. If she does this, your very soul will be crushed under the weight of your own failure. If you answer in time, and confidently enough, the librarian will hiss and produce a dagger. Do not attack her, for her strength and speed are beyond legend. She will hand the blade off to you and open the door, whispering curses as you pass. The path is well lit, with no end in sight. Mirrors line the path reflecting every victory, good and evil, since before time began. To look into any of these mirrors is to fail in the scenario it reflects. The path stretches beyond time, and you must follow. After what seems like an eternity of walking, a large steel door will appear. A voice will beckon you closer. Keep your mind free of doubt. You must be sure of your triumph, lest you have your soul rent from you and tortured for eternity. Step up to the door and knock 7 times. If the voice brands you a failure, the horror you will see will force you to slice your own throat open with the dagger. If there is no answer, then enter. The room will be dark. The inky darkness will be almost tangible. Ask your question, what will happen when he triumphs? The room will light up, revealing a naked figure of great height, with the physique of Adonis, every feature gleaming in perfection save for the fact that he has no face. He will rise and turn toward you. Ask again, what will happen when he triumphs? The figure will cock his head sharply to the right, and immediately lunge at you. Do not flinch, or he will beat you to death and feed off of your sanity. Instead, charge. But I warn you to attack with berserk ferocity, or you will surely lose. You must not kill him, only incapacitate him. He will speak directly into your mind. Your perseverance serves. Do not thank him. Instead yell, "Thrice I say and done! What will happen when he triumphs?" The figure will scream now, the sound threatening to implode your mind, and he will describe in gruesome detail the end of time when he arrives. Stab the figure in the throat and remove his head. His head will serve as your trophy, a symbol of your triumph. This trophy is object 74 of 538. He knows who you are. Bask in his triumph when the time comes.
That's way too much remembering from me, bro. I'm dead. I'm not gonna lie.
Has Atlantis just been discovered by scientists? Many theories exist about this ancient lost city, but what would you say if I told you it's located in the eye of the Sahara? The Sahara Desert is the largest hot desert on Earth, covering an area of over 9 million square kilometers. This vast expanse of sand has long been a mystery for archaeologists and historians. However, recent satellite images have revealed a series of strange structures under the sand that could potentially hold the key to the location of Atlantis. These structures are found within the Yacht structure, also known as the Eye of the Sahara. This circular formation measures about 50 kilometers in diameter and is believed to have been formed by a volcanic eruption millions of years ago. Some experts think that this structure could be the remains of Atlantis, as it matches the description given by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. According to Plato, Atlantis was a circular city surrounded by...
I don't think any type of movie gets more hate than PG-13 horror movies. So much so to the point where a lot of times people won't even give a movie a chance if they see the movie is rated PG-13. In fact, some of them PG-13 horror movies might be some of the best you've seen. Like The Ring, for example, which is an absolute legendary film, one of the most memorable scenes of all time with the TV scene. This movie is rated PG-13. Riding the Japanese remake wave, let's go with The Grudge from 2004. Terrifying, to say the least, but rated PG-13. It did not take away from the spooky factor at all. You know, 2018's A Quiet Place was also rated PG-13. The movie that gained critical acclaim across the board, PG-13. Sam Raimi directed a movie in 2009 called Drag Me to Hell, which is a fantastic horror comedy and basically a love letter to the Evil Dead franchise. Also rated PG-13. One of the reasons why this movie didn't perform as well is because of the fact that it was rated PG-13, directed by Sam Raimi. So a lot of people were like, nah, I don't know about that one, bro. Cloverfield, one of everybody's favorite found footage movies, is rated PG-13. Did you know in 2005 there was a possession movie that was rated PG-13? It's called The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Most possession films always are going to be R-rated because of the subject matter. However, Emily Rose, PG-13. Lights Out, another great movie that was rated PG-13. Signs, a movie that scared an entire young millennial generation with just one scene, is rated PG-13. Insidious, one of the best horror movies of the 2010s, is rated PG-13. Made by the same man who gave us The Conjuring that was rated R. And when comparing the two, Insidious didn't fall short at all. And this last one is sure to shock you. Did you know that the 80s classic Poltergeist, which is considered to be one of the most legendary horror films of all time, doesn't have an R rating or a PG-13 rating? Poltergeist is rated PG. Yeah, PG. Like a Disney movie. However, that didn't take away from the impact or the spooks at all. Please understand that horror movies do not always have to be filled with sex, gore, blood, and guts. You can tell a movie and spook people the right way.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, I am one of those people that are not necessarily interested in a movie if it's not rated R. But now that he listed those facts, I was like, yo, I've actually watched a lot of those PG-13 horror movies and actually liked them. Put down in the comments if you're the type of person to only watch a horror movie if it's rated R, because that's me.
Creepy urban legends you didn't know about. Georgia, the ghost town of Lake Lanier. At the bottom of Lake Lanier lies almost fully intact towns, ferries, a racetrack, and multiple cemeteries. The Georgia government, in its determination to create Lake Lanier, bought up entire towns in order to clear the space for the lake after they received congressional approval in 1946. However, they just decided to let the water cover up the towns rather than demolishing them. Now, Lake Lanier has a decidedly eerie feel about it. There have been an unusual number of freak accidents and deaths on the lake. In 2011, there were 17 deaths alone. Many of the people who drowned have been recovered. People have reported feeling arms and legs in the water, but have not been able to find them right after, leading people to believe that spirits still roam the lake.
There's a theory on Barbie. You know Elf? Buddy the Elf?
Yeah.
The Christmas movie?
He was in it?
Buddy the Elf is connected to the Lego movie, and the Lego movie is also connected to Barbie, also connected to Elf.
What the fuck?
So check this out. Buddy the Elf, what was he really good at? He was really, really f***ing good with toys, making toys. Remember that scene in the mall where he builds a huge Empire State with Lego?
Yeah.
In the Lego movie, Will Ferrell, who played Buddy the Elf, was the big boss, the dad in the Lego movie. And then in the basement of the room, he had like a whole city made out of what? Legos. And big skyscrapers, just like how Buddy the Elf would have made. We know in the Lego movie, the boss dad, played by Will Ferrell, was a boss of some big company. That's why he's like that. That's how he was kind of like treating his kid like that. In Barbie, we see Will Ferrell playing what?
The boss.
A boss.
The CEO.
The CEO.
It's also the intro of the Lego movie and the intro of Barbie.
Yeah.
It's identical.
Word. Is it actually?
Yeah.
Now you want to get even deeper?
Okay.
So, you know how in Elf, when he's...
I've actually never watched the Barbie movie, but apparently a lot of people that have watched it, they said they really liked it.
Celebrities who fake their death, Part 3. Michael Jackson.
Yo, why was that guy about to attack him just for having a camera out, bro? I'm just minding my own business, and then if Michael Jackson just randomly popped up while I'm recording, hey, don't take my camera, tell him to get out of here.
What happened to Cleopatra's children? Despite being the last pharaoh of Egypt, her legacy was not enough to protect her children from the ruthless politics of the time. Cleopatra had 4 children, 3 with her lover and ally, Mark Antony, and 1 with Julius Caesar. After the deaths of Mark Antony and Cleopatra, her children became vulnerable targets for the new Roman ruler Octavian, also known as Augustus, who ordered the execution of Cleopatra's eldest son, Caesarion, seen as a threat to his power. Her 3 other children, Alexander Helios, Cleopatra Selene, and Ptolemy Philadelphus, were taken to Rome as prisoners. Although they were treated relatively well in Rome, they were used as political pawns and were not allowed to return to Egypt. Alexander Helios and Ptolemy Philadelphus disappeared from historical records, and it is likely that they died young. On the other hand, Cleopatra Selene was married to the king of Mauritania and became a powerful queen in her own right.
There is a secret document from the CIA that has just been released, and what it reveals is terrifying. It's called The Story of Adam and Eve, and it explains how the end of the world will occur. And the scariest part is that it is entirely logical and makes complete sense. It explains that the North Pole and the South Pole shift every 12 to 15,000 years. And when this shift occurs, it triggers a massive apocalypse with earthquakes and giant tsunamis. After the apocalypse happens, we go back to prehistoric times, the Stone Age. It also states that the first humans like us lived 10,000 years before Jesus Christ. So, we are approximately 13,000 years after the first humans, and we are already witnessing significant events like climate change and other catastrophes. The book also claims that we are the 6th civilization to emerge from the apocalypse. We reach a certain point in civilization, and then everything resets. This would explain many things, such as the Sahara Desert once being green, and Antarctica having forests. Now, things are changing, with some places becoming colder while others become hotter. This is why there is mention of the flood in the Bible, and it's likely what happened to Atlantis. It would make sense for a city to be underwater if water wasn't there before.
Yeah, I've heard about the Adam and Eve theory before, but I'm not too sure if I believe it.
The iPhone is not what it looks like. This simple phone holds a lot of secrets, as there's a theory that the iPhone is a subtle symbol of the Antichrist. Some people say that the eye in the iPhone is actually hinting at the eye, which is the symbol of the Illuminati. And if you think about it, the iPhone is constantly monitoring your every move and listening in on everything you say. Moreover, the name Siri, when spelled backwards, gives the word iris, but that's not even the craziest part. If you look at the phone's back, you'll see the bitten apple logo. But think about it. In what other context did an apple with just one bite appear? Yes, you're right. It's the tool Satan used to tempt humans into the first sin of the world, and now you know that.
I have a creepy story time. If this is the type of content that you're into, feel free to follow along. I post a scary story every single day. The person who submitted this wishes to remain anonymous, so for the sake of the story, let's call him Victor. Now, Victor is a medium, which means that he is able to help people who have recently lost a loved one in order to deliver a message, or if they're having any type of experiences in their home. Back in 2006, him, his wife, and daughter had recently moved to Texas. Around this time is when they came across a family that were having issues in their home. It started off very small, like pictures falling off the wall, dishes were being moved, and keys were going missing, but nothing too crazy, just mainly annoying. But as time went on, it started to get worse. Victor was called, so he decided to go over there and take a walk around. The minute Victor walked into this house, he felt it. Now, this family had 2 young children. One was about 4, the other one was 6. So Victor suggested that they lay baby powder on the ground to try to eliminate some of the noises and the things going missing, to see if it was maybe the kids messing around. The next day at about 9 a.m., Victor gets a call from the family. He ends up going to the house. When he walks in, they show him one of the rooms where they lay the baby powder, and very clearly in cursive, the name Casey has been written out. Now, Casey happened to be Victor's daughter's name. And there was no way that anyone in the house could have been the one to write it out because there were no footsteps around the name, 1, and 2, no one in the house knew his daughter's name. So Victor asked the family, you guys know anyone by the name of Casey? The family all responds with, no, we don't know anyone by that name. Victor then tells the family that he cannot help them and starts to quickly leave the house. The family, of course, asks, why can't you help us and who's Casey? Victor explains to them that Casey is his daughter's name. And the fact that his daughter's name was written in cursive on the ground to him is a warning. Victor believed that this was a D word that was trying to come after him because he was helping the family.
So I talk about scary things on TikTok. Not all the time, sometimes. There have been many, like a couple of scary things that happened to me.
Okay.
Through TikTok. I did an iPhone giveaway recently. Remember that?
In MOE, I believe. Mall of Emirates, yeah.
Yeah. So I went to the mall, met a lot of fans. There were like more than 50 people there. Took many selfies. And was talking to people individually, one by one, you know, like, talk for a few minutes, then another person talk for a few minutes, take a picture here.
Yeah.
One guy was waiting from a distance, just looking at me. Okay. He wasn't smiling at all. That's what
He's just staring at you.
Yeah. He approached me and he was like, Ibrahim, I wanna be a part of your horror stories. Like, in what way? He's like, I want to submit something to you. I was like, yeah, bro, tell me, what is it? He just looked very off. He was not comfortable. He was sweating. He was uncomfortable when he was talking to me. He said, I speak to jinns.
Okay.
I looked at him, I'm like, what?
Stay the fuck away from me, man.
The first thing, as soon as he said that, I felt like a cold hit my back, right? Something cold hit my back.
Yeah.
I felt very weak when he said that. I don't know if it was psychological or if it was paranormal. And I couldn't look at him in the eyes. And I was rehearsing Ayatul Kursi in my heart. You know, I was saying it. I was like, how about you speak to me on Instagram? So yeah, I speak to jinns and one of them is right here and
what the fuck?
And I can tell you a lot of things. I want to be a part of your horror stories. It freaked me out, bro. Really did freak me out. He said, I know a lot of things about you as well.
Oh shit.
I could see a qareen, is what he told me.
For those that don't know, qareen?
A qareen is like a companion type of jinn that is always with you. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. They're the ones that whisper to tell you to do bad things.
Yeah, okay.
That's the qareen.
And he could see that next to you.
It's pretty much the devil that sits on your shoulder, and for Christians,
it's
the same ideology.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that was one of the scariest things that happened to me.
Jeez, man, that's
swear to God.
That's scary as hell, dude. That's so random. Like, imagine just doing like a meetup and then someone's just telling you like, yeah, bro, I got a demon next to me and I can see your demons. I'm like, okay, dude. Calm down, buddy.
This story is proof as to how you can't even trust your own family members. Now, Heather married her high school sweetheart. They ended up married for 15 years. In that time, they ended up having 2 beautiful children. Throughout their whole marriage, their relationship was one-sided. Everything that Heather's husband wanted is what went. She didn't really have much of a say. After Heather graduated college, her husband was fired, at which point he decided that he was going to go back to school and get a degree in criminology. After he went back to school, she found out that he actually had been cheating on her with multiple females from his school. After Heather found this out, she decided to divorce him. Now, her husband's mother has never liked Heather, and there were many rumors around town saying that she was a witch. The divorce and the custody battle ended up getting really messy, and Heather's husband somehow convinced the courts that she was psychotic and unable to care for the children. Once Heather found herself alone in the home, she started to hear things. She would see things crawling across the ceiling. She tried to convince herself that it was just a squirrel until her alarm system would just suddenly go off around 2 to 3 a.m. To talk to one of her friends about her experiences, and her friend decided to get her in contact with a person that could find out if Heather had been hexed. The minute he entered her home, he went straight for her backyard and started to dig in a specific area. When he started to dig, he found a jar that her mother-in-law had put in there with spells. The spells were written in her mother-in-law's handwriting and sealed with her blood. She actually sent me photos of the jars and the spells and all that, which I won't be sharing on here for obvious reasons. But once the spell jar was removed from her home, she stopped having experiences where she was hearing things and she no longer saw things crawling on her ceiling.
It seemed like that hex jar was kind of cursing her, if I'm being honest.
Welcome to my new True Crime and Art series. I talk about true crime while you watch a time-lapse replay of my digital art below. Elisa Lam's body was found in a water tank at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles in 2013. To this day, nobody knows how she died or how her body got there. Elisa Lam checked into the Cecil Hotel on January 26, 2013. The Cecil Hotel is known for its dark history and association with crime and had a reputation of attracting a range of individuals, including those involved in illegal activities. Lam was traveling alone and had been staying in a shared room with other guests. Lam's stay took a bizarre turn when she began to exhibit unusual behavior. On January 31st, 2013, Elisa was captured on the hotel's surveillance cameras acting erratically in one of the hotel's elevators. The footage showed her pressing multiple buttons, peeking out of the elevator, and making strange hand gestures. It seemed as if she was interacting with someone or something that was not visible on the camera. The video went viral after being released by the police in their efforts to locate Lam. Police speculated about what could have caused her odd behavior. She was suffering from bipolar disorder, and some people think that she was having a psychotic episode. Others believe that she was having a paranormal encounter. And some people even believe that she could have been playing the elevator game, which is a supernatural game that is supposed to take you to another dimension. The video added to the already eerie reputation of the Cecil Hotel. The police and other hotel staff began searching for Lam, but their efforts were fruitless. Concern grew as the days turned into weeks and Lam's worried family reported her missing. Finally, on February 19, 2013, almost 3 weeks after her disappearance, the case took a tragic turn. The hotel guest had been complaining about the water supply, describing it as discolored and having a strange taste and odor. A maintenance worker was sent to investigate the water tanks on the hotel's rooftop. There, he made a gruesome discovery. Elisa Lam's lifeless body was found floating in one of the large water tanks. The circumstances surrounding her death only added to the mystery. How did Lam end up in a water tank? Why did the tank's lid appear to be closed from the outside when it could only be closed from the inside? The tanks were large and difficult to access, and the lid was reported to be heavy and required a lot of strength to close. The fact that the lid appeared to be closed from the outside raised questions about how Lam could have entered the water tank and then closed it behind her. Autopsy reports indicated that her death was caused by accidental drowning, and her bipolar disorder was listed as a contributing factor. Many questions remained unanswered. Speculations and theories continued to swirl, and the case became the subject of intense public scrutiny. The story of Elisa Lam in the Cecil Hotel remains a haunting and unsolved mystery.
I've heard about that story so many times, but it's like, I wonder who was the first person to drink that water, be like, you know, this kind of tastes weird. And looking back, it's like, there was a body in the whole water supply. It's like, what the... But that is a good question, though. Like, how do you even get in that and shut it? Like, that story makes no sense.
In 2017, police arrested a man for public intoxication, claiming that he had traveled back in time to warn us of an alien invasion. Casper police said that Brian Johnson, the man they encountered at 10:30 p.m. on a Monday, claimed that he was from the year 2048. It was reported that Johnson told police that he wanted to warn the people of Casper that aliens were going to arrive and that they should leave as soon as possible. Johnson asked to speak to the president of the town about 170 miles northwest of Cheyenne. Johnson told police that he was only able to time travel because aliens filled his body with alcohol. He also noted that he was supposed to be transported to the year 2018 instead of 2017. Do you guys think he was a real time traveler, or was he just really intoxicated? Thinking about the incident that happened in Vegas recently with the 10-foot supernatural being in the backyard, I'm not so sure.
I mean, here we are in 2024, and apparently the government actually confirmed that there might be UFOs and aliens, possibly. So, if that was really a time traveler, that would be the first real time traveler. But the fact that he said something about alcohol makes me just think he's just faded. He's just faded as hell.
If you decide to visit the Himalayas, you might get a scare. The Yeti is a legendary creature commonly known as the Abominable Snowman. Alongside his cousin Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster, the Yeti is the best-known and most sought-after cryptid in history. It is described as a large, bipedal, ape-like creature covered in generally gray or white fur. The Yeti was part of the beliefs of the indigenous people of the Himalayas before the arrival of the Buddhists. The natives worshipped a glacial being that they considered the god of the hunt. In certain spiritual ceremonies, the blood of hunted animals was even offered to him. This god of the hunt was depicted as a great ape-like creature carrying a spear or club as a weapon. Reports of sightings increased in the early 20th century when Westerners began mountaineering in the area. In 1925, the geologist Nikolaos Tompazis claimed to have seen a creature over 2 meters tall near the Zimu Glacier. He described the creature as humanoid and upright. Hours later, he discovered footprints of the creature, which were somewhat similar to those of a man. Interest in the Yeti grew in the 1950s when Eric Shipton captured several photographs of footprints in the snow. Those photographs are considered the strongest evidence of the creature's existence. The Daily Mail newspaper organized an expedition to find evidence of the Yeti. Group leader John Angelo Jackson tracked down and photographed several tracks in the snow, most of which were identifiable. However, there were some larger ones that could not be identified. In 2007, American television presenter Joshua Gates and his team found a series of footprints in the Nepal region that matched descriptions of the Yeti. The Abominable Snowman is an important part of Sherpa folklore, legends, and history. The numerous photos of supposed footprints and the myth of the god of the hunt have helped keep the creature unknown in people's minds. Many proponents of the Yeti argue that capturing or photographing it is extremely difficult, since its senses are much more developed than ours, allowing it to perceive human presence long before anyone can get close. Will we ever know the truth about the Yeti? Would you dare to search for it? Here are 10 disturbing and scary facts that you didn't know. Part 4. In 1872, something strange happened in the ocean. A ship called the Mary Celeste was discovered floating without its crew or passengers. Surprisingly, there were no signs of a fight or damage, except for a little water inside the ship. Over the years, people have come up with many ideas to explain what might have happened, such as pirates, sea monsters, or even aliens taking the people away. However, the truth remains a mystery. There exists an ancient book known as the Voynich manuscript, filled with strange symbols, drawings, and letters. However, the written text in the book does not resemble any known language. Despite numerous attempts, nobody has successfully deciphered the meaning of the Voynich manuscript, leaving it as an unsolved mystery. There might be a haunted Russian radio station. UVB-76 is a low-frequency radio station that has been broadcasting since 1982. No one knows where the broadcast is originating from. It mostly emits a buzzing noise with occasional Russian voice transmissions. There is a real book called The Devil's Bible, or Codex Gigas, which is the largest known Latin manuscript. It includes a large portrait of Satan. According to popular belief, the manuscript contains a contract made between a monk and Satan in the 13th century. The story goes that the monk made the pact to save himself from execution. 3 of the air packs found in the wreckage of the Challenger disaster were activated, indicating that at least one of the astronauts was alive all the way to the ocean. Edward Paisnell, known as the Beast of Jersey, would break into houses wearing a rubber mask and wristlets studded with nails, terrorizing women and children. When he wasn't engaging in such acts, he played Santa Claus at the local community center. There is an abandoned village found in Delaware. Due to the satanic symbols found around, the village is believed to have been created by witches sometime in the early 1900s. Approximately 20 to 30 people go missing around these woods every year. On March 30th, 1996, a mother cat rescued all 5 of her kittens from a burning building in New York City. She walked through flames 5 times to rescue each one before collapsing unconscious. She later regained consciousness and was reunited with her kittens. In 1963, the Bronx Zoo installed an exhibit called The most dangerous animal in the world. It was a mirror. Shams al-Marif is an influential grimoire, book of magic, written in Arabic by the Persian mystic and scholar Ahmad al-Buni in Ayyubid, Egypt in the 13th century. The first few chapters of the book introduces the reader to magic squares, a combination of numbers and the alphabet believed to have magical effects. It explores methods to communicate with jinn, angels, and spirits, presenting them as entities to interact with using these mystical practices. Like for part 5.
They have some really good facts in that, I'm not gonna lie, but like, I'm kind of wondering if the Bronx Zoo still has that "this is the world's scariest animal, it's the mirror." I definitely want to check that out, because the Bronx ain't even too far from me for real.
These are mildly unsettling images, and I promise you some of these will just give you the chills. Up first is a picture of somebody's signature as their Alzheimer's gets worse. As you can see, it's completely normal until it just gets worse and worse. This is how unsettling that something can do this to your brain, and actually seeing what it does is very scary. Next up is a picture of a bat nursery. And if you hate bats, I guarantee you cannot look at this picture. A bat nursery is where female bats take care of their young, or in other words, just house them. And looking at it, it's just creepy and gross. This next photo is what you get when you ask AI what the word religion was. I know I'm not the only one feeling this way, but looking at this picture makes me feel unsettled in just some way. This just looks like a creepy cult, and it's very crazy that this is what AI drew when it was asked what the word religion was. Next up is a picture of two almost naked girls in the woods, eating a dead deer's body in the middle of the night. This happened recently, and nobody knows what exactly was happening yet. Some people speculate that it's a ritual, and others think that they are captured by somebody making them do this. Finally is a picture of a 65-foot deep crack in Utah. Just imagine falling in that for a second. Just complete blackness as you fall into the earth to your death.
Not gonna lie, I feel like if you did fall into that, you could probably get out. I don't feel like it, I don't know. Maybe the hole is wide enough, but I feel like to an extent it's not that wide. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. What do you think? Put your thoughts in the comments.
These are videos you can never watch at night. Okay, so we know how there's just some videos you can't watch at night because they're that scary. Well, in this series, I'll be showing you all of those videos, so be ready to get scared.
What the fuck is that? Oh, what's... Run! Guys, wait!
Okay, in that video, 3 friends were camping in the woods when they suddenly saw something terrifying. They all began to run away, and when the kid with the camera turned around, he captured something truly disturbing. There was some sort of humanoid creature on all 4s in their tent. This video has been going viral recently, and many people speculate that this is actually the Rake, which is a very scary and powerful humanoid creature, which could kill any human being in seconds. I already find camping extremely creepy, but after watching this video, it just convinced me never to go camping because of stuff like this. Just know if all of your friends ever start to scream run and they start running, something's not right and you need—
I feel like every time I watch creepy clips, it's always just like the humanoid creatures with the super long legs, super long arms crawling on all 4s that are just hunting humans. Like the Rake. I don't know, that could have been played out, but like, if it was real, that's creepy as hell. Anyways, thank you for watching. I know you guys like the longer videos with the new clips, but if you guys like the video, please like. Let's try to get to 1,000 likes this video, because we've been hitting 500 pretty consistently, so let's just try to get to 1,000. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.
Okay, there's a video I want to show you. So just recently,
yeah, what happened?
Michael Jackson's son had a party. Now people are saying Michael Jackson was actually there in disguise, bro. No, look at this, look at this, look at this. Michael Jackson, he was known for being allergic to the sun because of his skin.
Okay, so he's like,
so he's always wearing like long sleeves or stuff to cover himself.
Yeah.
So you can see here, see, he has an umbrella, always wearing sunglasses, always covering his skin. Now his son and I think his manager, they had a big like yacht party.
Okay.
Now there's somebody on the boat that looks very suspicious.
Oh,
because it's the only person that's wearing full covered, and look at his face and look at the choice of attire. People are saying this is Michael Jackson after another plastic surgery to change his identity. And he's hiding, and he's still chilling with his son in public.